Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Sturm, Concertmaster of the Des Moines Symphony, and I'd like to talk with you just a little bit this afternoon about the Four Seasons by Antonio Vivaldi, which will be coming up on our next concert. This piece has been around since, I don't know, about 1700, give or take a decade, and so what do you bring new to this piece? Well, there are all kinds of ways you can approach this piece. You can approach it from a very modernistic way. Others will give you a Baroque interpretation. Now in the Baroque era, I can't give you an authentic Baroque performance because my violin is a modern violin and my bow is a modern bow. But they would have held the bow up, way up high like this. The bow would have been bent out instead of in, so it would have pulled differently on the string. The fingerboard would have ended here because most of the time you didn't go up that high. The bridge had less wood in it. The neck was not, if you look at my violin, you can see it sort of cantilevered down away from the body of the violin. That was not the case in Vivaldi's day. So you would get a much softer with a lot more sort of swell in the middle. Some people have taken that to extremes and you end up with a very kind of a sound, which I personally am not a fan of. But they would claim that that's Baroque interpretational styles. What we're going to do is listen carefully to what Anna Kiekemeyer is asking of us, and we will interpret the piece the way she wants it done. But I think what you will get is something that is quite interesting and with a wide timbre palette as we get them out of the instrument. For example, from soft like this to very icy like this to very dry and staccato sounds, and then sometimes more lush, but never in that sort of big Brahmsian romantic sense. It's interesting about the history of this piece. Really up until the 20th century, it was not well known at all. It was about 1947 or so when it started taking off in popularity as a result of the recording industry. Prior to that, it was not performed very much. Romantic concertos dominated the scene during the Romantic era and into the early 20th century. But it was just after World War II that a recording or two of this piece came out, and Vivaldi has been on the upscale ever since then. But Vivaldi, in a time when music was pushing the intellectual envelope in many, many composers, appealed to the audiences that didn't want to necessarily always have to think while they listened. So it rose in popularity then. It became something that because the movements are also very short, you could put just a couple of movements on a compilation CD of top favorites from this time period, Baroque hits, that kind of a CD. Those were very popular in the 1970s when record collections started taking off. So everybody would say, well, I don't know anything about Baroque music, but I'll just get the top hits. So they got the top hits, which meant that they let somebody else choose what they thought they should listen to. And by doing that, they enjoyed the pieces, but one they always heard was Vivaldi's Autumn or Vivaldi's Spring. So, you know, you'd hear, something like that. You know, those are popular pieces. And in fact, spring and autumn became more popular in a lot of ways than summer and winter because they had those really catchy tunes to them. The rest of the program is from a quite different time period. In this particular concert, we have Verdi's Overture to La Forza del Destino, the Force of Destiny, and truly that is one of the great Italian operatic overtures. It's full of foreboding, as well it should be if you're dealing in an opera with destiny. And then the concert concludes with Respighi's The Pines of Rome, and what a blockbuster that is. To conclude the concert with more program music from the Italians, and as Respighi describes the different sections of the city of Rome, and I was just there this past May myself, saw the Gianicolo, saw the Appian Way, saw some of the places where he'd written his music about, the catacombs, and it was really, really great to sort of descend into the catacombs and hear that ominous music that he created for that. So you really have an exciting program here full of musical pieces that stand totally on their own 2 feet, but also which inspire us to think about those places that maybe you too have visited and those seasons that you too have experienced. I hope you'll come to the concert. If you do, I know you'll enjoy yourselves. you.